Yo, what's up YouTube? Jay Traveling here, and today I got another video for you. Today I'm going to talk about my Ipollo that I finally got, and I've been trying to get one of these for a little while now, but I didn't really want to overpay for it or go crazy on eBay with paying a bunch of different people that are just trying to scalp pretty much for it. So I ended up getting a 130 mega hash model with 3.6 gigabytes of VRAM that runs at spec-wise 104 watts. Now, unfortunately, I did not meter it for this video, but it says it runs at 104 watts plus or minus 10%. So that's pretty much the spec that I'm going to use with testing it. But I did get it up and running. It was kind of tedious for a little while with different things I had to do, which I'll talk about in this video. But pretty much the story behind it is I purchased multiple Ipollos, and this is the first one I've actually received. Now, I did purchase an SE model, which was new to the market. I purchased it from Belay Mining, and it wasn't anything bad on their end. I think it was more of an Ipollo end, because when I purchased it, I actually talked to Belay Mining's customer service, and they told me that I would be in the first batch that they get. So they said that batch was ordered and it was on its way, so I bought it. I can't remember what I spent. I think it was like $1,600. Now, this was the SE model. It did 400 mega hash at 200 watts. And about a month went by, and they said it would be shipped in about a week. They should have it and ship it out. About a month went by, so I contacted them, and they told me, unfortunately, that it was on back order for the time being. Now, kudos to Belay Mining, though. They did have great customer service, refunded me for my purchase. So I have nothing against Belay Mining. I think they're still a solid company, and I would do business with them again. But he did have something in stock, ready to ship, that I did want. I would purchase them from them with no hassle and no worries about if I'll get the product or not. So if you are interested in the company, I feel like Belay Mining is a solid company to go with. I just wish they were upfront about the back order, and that it wasn't coming in at the time. So the only issue I have with them, but I will purchase from them in the future. Another one I purchased on eBay, I ended up negotiating with a guy, purchasing one, and that was, I believe, a 300 mega hash model at 240 watts, the gold one. I bought it for about 800. I thought I was getting a good deal. It was a little risky. He didn't have feedback, but his account wasn't brand spanking new, but it was still fairly new. And we were communicating back and forth. He kept telling me he was going to ship it, and he didn't. Then he kept telling me he was going to ship it, and he didn't. Then he told me he gave it to his mom to ship it, and he didn't ship it. So I ended up filing a claim, getting my money back on that one also. So that was two that I had purchased, didn't get. Finally, I offered some guy, I think I paid $400 for this one plus $30 shipping. It shipped, it came, and it's here. I finally have one. I didn't necessarily want the 130 mega hash model, only because the VRAM is 3.6 gigabytes, but I should still be able to mine with this on Ethereum Classic until 2024, so I should still have some solid time to make the money back. I don't think it'll ever break even. I'll probably be looking for something else to mine with it, such as Callisto if I can later on down the road, because of the DAG file size. But I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, I believe they have a lower DAG file size. But let's check out the miner, and then we'll go inside the computer, and I'll show you guys the troubles I had with it and what I did to fix it. So here is the miner. It's plugged in. Now, I am using the stock power supply, and I believe it's a 320 watt power supply. It's a little warm to the touch, but it is running on 240 volt on my PDU. It doesn't even register 1 amp on the bank. Now, this, I believe, still running pretty low wattage. The fans aren't that loud. It doesn't put out much heat. I thought it would be a little louder and put out a little more heat, but I'm pretty surprised with this one. So pretty happy with it so far. Now, I plan on stacking a few of them up and possibly running them off a server power supply on one power supply, and then getting rid of these. One, these are hideous bricks, and two, I just don't like them all that much. Now, it does do the job. It does power it, and it's running pretty efficiently. This red little nub is actually where the Wi-Fi antenna goes. I don't have Wi-Fi used on it, so I didn't put the antenna on it, but I do have it if I were to need it. But let's go ahead and we'll go inside the computer now that you have seen the miner, and I'll show you guys what it is doing. So here we are actually inside of the miner. You can see it's holding pretty rock solid at about 144 mega hash. Now this one is, like I said, the 130 mega hash model at 104 watts. Now the wattage is give or take 10%, but it's holding pretty solid. Now this I never really had an issue with. I had an issue with, I had to update the firmware. So what I did was I went to the Ipollo site, went to their support, downloaded the firmware, pretty much unzip the file, and then you go into the firmware upgrade, click it, and you like, load it in. I can make a separate video on that if you guys want, on how I updated the firmware on this. But you can see inside my information overview, this is pretty much some statistics on the miner. Now, before I did the firmware, I was getting rejected shares, not a whole lot, but I'd say probably more than comfortable. I know on my GPUs I say about 1% is my rule of thumb. Some people probably want less than that. But this was up probably closer to, like, because I didn't have it running all that long, probably 10% of my shares were pretty much rejected or stale. I actually didn't have any stales, all rejected. But when I did set it up, I went into miner configuration here, and this is where I set it up. I deleted these ones out that come stock with these from Poland, and then I put the ETC one in for 2 miners because that's what I wanted to mine on, because I did have some money on the pool left from when I was mining Ethereum Classic before. And then I put my web address .ipollo mini. Now I'll probably change the name of it once I get a few more. I'm in the works of trying to get some more. And then in the password I just put X and then click save and apply. Now this did take a good 6 to 7 minutes to start populating hash rate, and I was actually worried because I was messing with it on my early morning when I was getting ready for work, and that's when I flashed the firmware, reset up the miner, and this was reading 0 mega hash, and this was starting to climb the get works, but it didn't have any accepted shares, so it wasn't showing any hash rate. So when I was getting ready, it was at 0. I was like, man, I really hope it worked. But when I got to work and I checked the actual pool, it was good. Now let's check the actual pool here. Now it has been up mining for quite some time now. 16 seconds ago is when, check this, and look, the pool is at 218 mega hash a second. Now I don't get this a lot. This is just luck of shooting the video at this time. I'm averaging 157. This is more like averaging 150, not 100. This average is about 148 mega hash a second, and it reports 130. Now the way the pool does it, it goes by how many shares you get throughout that time frame. That's how it's calculating your hash rate, not just how you're overclocking or whatever. I mean, this is a little different than a GPU, but that's pretty much how I understand it. It calculates your hash rates, how many accepted shares you're getting, or how many rejected shares you're getting, and the time in between getting those shares. But it's doing pretty well. Before, this was reading 16.67 mega hash. This was probably around 68 mega hash, and this would go anywhere between 60 to 80 mega hash ish. And that's what the issue I was having with the last firmwares when I did get it, and when I bought the machine, I did reset it back to factory, tried updating the firmware, put a firmware on it that I've seen other people using, such as like Red Panda. Then that still wasn't working, still getting the same issue. And that's why I just went to the latest firmware, which rule of thumb is you should always just use the latest anyway, because that's got the most bug fixes. But then that ended up working for me. But let's check out this miner. Now at 218 mega hash a second, I'm looking at roughly 60 cents a day, 59 cents, 157. We won't use these numbers, but let's check out what to mine as far as what I'm looking at here. So at 130 mega hash, 104 watts, what it's rated for. Pretty much a break even. It has a negative sign, which means I'm slightly negative, a fraction of a penny. Not terrible there, I guess. Better than my GPUs. But if we're looking at, like I said, in this, I was averaging like 148. Let's look at here. 144 mega hash. Let's say what it's reporting, 144 mega hash. Now, if I'm getting that at 104 watts, I'm profiting 4 cents a day. not making a killing, not making a huge living, but profiting. Now, if we stick to 10% rule, we'll say we're using 115 watts. And I am calculating at 15 cents per kilowatt hour. Electricity rates are going up. Mine's slightly lower than that. But let's look at 144 megahash at 115 cents because that's a little more accurate to it. Still a little negative. So, not awful, not great. I'd obviously like to be making money, but I'm going to keep mining with these. Now, the plan is once I get a few more that I switch these over to solo mining. So I want to get a couple more of these. I'm probably going to end up landing the 130 megahash model because of the price range. I'm trying to get them for around the $300 price range. Now, I paid a little bit more for this one. This was my first one. I paid about $420-ish after shipping and taxes. So I'm looking to spend a little less than that on the next couple, but I want to get 2 or 3 of these running, and I'm going to solo mine with them. And I'm hoping to land at least 1 block per month, but I'll let you guys know when that happens and when I'm going to do it, and we'll see how it goes. I'll track it. I'll let you guys know when I hit, how I hit, how many I hit. When I'm talking about blocks, obviously, and see how it's going, keep you guys updated on that. But you know, I really like this Ipollo. It's very efficient. I did end up getting rid of a 3090 to invest into this, so I'm not going to do a break even because I really don't have money out of pocket going into this, I'd say. I have a little extra cash in my pocket actually to spend on more miners. Actually, the deal that I did was a 3080 plus 300, so I guess I have $100 out of pocket for this miner. But I also have a 3080 12 gigabyte that's almost brand new sitting in the box right now that I don't know what to do with. I'll probably end up putting it in my girlfriend's PC, but if I end up doing that, I'll make a video on that, upgrading her PC. But like, know what you guys think of these miners. I'm really enjoying it right now. Setup was a little bit of a pain for me, but I figured it out, and the next one should be smoother, and the one after that should be smoother. But thanks for checking this video out. You know, let me know what you guys think of these. If you're running them, if you plan on getting them, if you think I overpaid for it, if you think I can get them even cheaper. But thanks for checking out. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more.